I want to repeat something I recorded maybe last year or months ago, because I saw that it was deleted from my phone here, so I want to tell it again. It was about long hair men. We see them from Native American cultures. We see them from Chinese culture and also Hun culture. These three cultures are the descendants of Mongolian culture. And as far as I remember, Mongolian culture had a tradition. They were letting their sons to have long hair till he came to the age of 9. When he is 9, they cut his hair and tell him that now you have become a man, you have become a boy, now you have a gender. Before 9 years old, you had no gender, you had no sex, but now after we cut your hair, you have your own sex and you became a boy. But of course, this must be a wrong tradition, because some of them didn't want to have his hair cut and wanted to move somewhere else to keep his long hair. And so we started hearing some other cultures like Chinese, like maybe like Japanese, like Huns, and like Mayan Inca cultures, because all of these cultures went on having long hair insistently. They had long hair as a result of their culture. I think they saved it as a culture, and it must be also a result of a trauma, a psychological problem they had after the pressure of their previous tradition. They didn't want to keep this tradition. They didn't want to live with this society, Mongolian society. So they moved somewhere else. They started to live in other lands with their long hair. Meant that some of these people from Mongolian culture who didn't want to have his hair cut comes to the age of 20, maybe 30, and remembers the moment that they cut his hair. He can't forget that moment. And so I'm sure these people start the new culture, like Chinese culture or Japanese or Hun culture or Mayan culture. These people, yes, they start having short hair, but they can't forget the moment. It must be like a trauma for them. So they might have said to themselves or their small society that we will have long hair in our new land. We will keep our culture. We will keep our long hairs in our new culture, in our new land. So let's move from here. They might have said like this. And it must be because of the moments they remember after they cut their hair. I mean, it must be a psychological reason that they moved from Asia, Middle Asia to Eastern Asia or Western Asia, because we see the same long hair tradition or culture by Vikings. I say Vikings, you say Vikings, but Vikings sounds more beautiful, more effective. Vikings, we see the same traditions by Vikings. They were also keeping long hair. So, this long hair has a psychological background, has a very important psychological background. Why do I say, or why did I say that Mayan culture, Viking culture, Viking culture, Japanese culture, Chinese culture, and Hun culture, they all have something in common and they come from the same source. They come from Mongolian tribe or society. Why did I say this? Because I have seen lots of things from their culture, same things from their culture. For example, I am a Turk and I know that some of my ancestors come from the Hun society. And from my history lessons, I heard many names ending with Khan. And the same name is used in the land America, in the land of America, South America, Middle, maybe in North America, I don't know well. But Kukulkan, the name Kukulkan, was a god for Mayan culture. They were worshipping, they were sacrificing for him or for it, but I'm sure he was a king, from their past. I think he was a very strong, wise, or successful king, leader. In time, they might have turned his name or changed his name into a god. But they do it by also keeping his original name, Kukul Khan. But here, Khan means Khan, because Khan is a title in Hun culture, maybe in Mongolian culture. I think it is a title mostly used by Hun culture, because till now I haven't heard any title from Chinese or Mongolian or Korean culture. But I heard many names like Oz Khan, Bumin Khan. I heard these names, these titles, also from Mayan culture, from the Middle American cultures. A Teotihuacan. One was like Teotihuacan and one was Kukulcan. I'm sure they had many other names ending with Khan. I mean Khan. Khan is the title of a leader in Hun culture. We also have other titles like Han, like Hun. Han and Hun, they're both used in Chinese and Japanese cultures, but Khan, as far as I know, Khan was only used by Hun culture. I haven't heard the title Khan from Viking culture either. So, the society, the people living or lived in America, such as Mayans, Aztecs, Incas, they were all the descendants of Huns. And I guess they moved from Asia to at first North America, Alaska, and then America, and then Southern Mexico, maybe Southern America. But these names, these titles are or were mostly used in the middle part of America. So I'm sure Kukul Khan was a person whose ancestors or who was moved from Asia, from Huns, from Hun culture to America, the land of America. And yes, I remember one thing again from Native American cultures. It was the word TP. They call in Alaska STP, but TP is called here in Turkish as tepe. What does tepe mean? What does TP mean? Tepe is used for mound, used for hills or highlands, and especially tepe or tipi was also used for the dome of this earth. Hun or Mongolians, they were, I think, all of them were worshipping to sky god, but mostly Hun culture, because I know they had a culture called Gökturks. Gökturks were worshipping to sky god, and they were trying to know about everything in nature and also everything about sky. So when a leader became a leader, he was saying that he was the leader of the sky. He was made a leader by the sky god. So I think this TP, this word TP or tepe, must have been come to Alaskan culture from Hun culture. The same word, but it was just pronounced a little bit different because of the preferences of these people, Alaskan people. Maybe they were pronouncing it with the same way like we do. They were saying tepe, but in time, because of the English pronunciation, they start pronouncing it like TP. How do they use TPs? Or for what do they use this word TP? They use TP for their houses. They build houses like the house shape or like the shape of the tents that Hun culture makes. But these tents have domes on top of on the top, and so because of having the dome or because of building a dome, they call their houses as teepees or tepe. This word also proves that the people in Alaska or the people in the land of America, whole America, came from Asia. Through what? Through maybe with the help of ships. Yes, with the help of ships, through shipping. And another proof is the belief, the culture, or the belief of the culture. The people in America believed, Native Americans, not the people living now in America. The Native Americans were subliming nature more than anything. Sometimes they were subliming an element of nature. Sometimes they were subliming another element of nature in another land. But they were all worshipping or trying to get the help of nature. The same can be seen in Hun culture. No, we are not the same. Turks are not the same, but some of them we still trying to keep some of them. We still trying to sublime nature because we are also believing Islam, and Islam also sublimes nature. So these two things, or these two details from both of these cultures, Native Americans and Huns, these two details prove that they are coming from the same source, or Native Americans were coming from Huns. Oh yes, I forgot to tell the lecture I had at university. It was about Native Americans. We learned many things about Native American culture. And I also, from my high school years, I read many texts about Native Americans like Kukulkan. I heard this name before, and I was also hearing the names like Khan, Oghuz Khan, or Bomin Khan. I was also hearing these names from my history lessons, and when I came to university, I wanted to have a lecture about Native Americans, and I had it. There I learned many details, and these details were very same like our culture. I loved it so much. I still love it. I still trying to follow Native American culture, trying to learn more about their culture. Sorry, I forgot to add this. Now I am adding. Yes, in this long hair tradition, there must be a deep reason, a very important psychological reason, which is sadness. Yes, they must have been worried too much. They must have been upset too much. And this must have affected their psychology, their way of life. So they wanted to move. They wanted to leave Mongolian culture. Yes, the reason must be a very deep sadness. Think or imagine that you are that boy. You were loved with your long hair till the age of 9. Your mother loved you, your father loved you, your blood friends loved you with your long hair, and you yourself loved your long hair. So this also means you got your self-confidence. You reached that level of self-confidence with your long hair. And when they cut it, what happens? You start thinking that you won't do the things you did before. You can't do the things you did before. You won't be able to do the things you did before. You won't be able to have that self-confidence you got. So this causes a deep sadness and a deep psychological problem. So what is the true way? What is the right way? Of course, you either let the child to continue having long hair and help him to leave that long hair totem step by step, slowly, throughout his life. You should give him some time to leave this totem. But here, I'm telling a tradition, a culture, because this affects a society. They have the tradition and they use for all people in the culture, and they cut all the hair in the culture, all the hair of the boys in the culture. So the tradition itself, the T-shaped tradition itself was wrong. It should have been destroyed. It should have been forgotten. It shouldn't have been made up. Yes, that's all.